Darius, good to talk to you, my friend. Congratulations on the big game on Monday night.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So what was it like? Monday night, national TV, first game of the year, all pumped up, and then you look around, there's nobody there to watch you do it in person.
It was a little weird, a little different. You go through your whole life playing with fans out there, even in Little League. You got your moms up there screaming. So it was definitely something that was a first-time experience for me. But, obviously at the end of the day, we got to go out there and play the game. So still was out there, still was able to focus on playing ball.
Absolutely. Did you find, we were up in the radio booth, so I was watching you guys before the game, and usually, on the sideline prior to kickoff, guys are running around, chest bump, high-five in between plays. You got the music going sometimes. You're trying to pump each other up. Did you find that there was, you almost had to manufacture some of that buzz and energy that the crowd usually kind of provides on its own?
Yeah, there's obviously going to be energy that the crowd provides that you, like you just said. Without the crowd, you kind of got to create some of that on your own, but we had music in there going, and at the end of the day, we still got each other. And to be honest, you practice all the time. So, you get used to – it's not a foreign concept to us having to generate our own juice, so to speak.
Yeah, absolutely. I know a lot of players say in that first game you kind of feel like you're out of breath for all 60 minutes, and you're constantly trying to, catch your breath a little bit, and especially with no kind of ramp up with preseason games. What was it like for you trying to keep your breath and stay full and 100% throughout that entire contest with no preseason games?
To be honest, for me personally at least, I felt pretty good the majority of the game. One thing that Coach Judge has been pretty big on has been conditioning since he's been here. So, I felt pretty fresh for the majority of the game, to be honest.
How sore were you this week coming out of your first really game situation of 2020?
Not very. All in all, I honestly feel pretty good.
Very good. It looked like the offense early in that game, Darius, and a lot of people thought not a lot of preseason action, limited practice time might take the offense in the passing game a little time to click. It seemed like you guys came out of the chute. The timing was good. You knew where you were going to get the ball. Daniel was getting it out quick. Why do you think you're able to click so early in that game with the passing attack?
I think it just comes with reps. While we didn't have preseason games, we had a lot of time to practice, a lot of time to go over these things. So when everybody knows that they're on the same page and the quarterback knows where we're going to be and we know where the ball is going to be, it helps with stuff like that.
All right, take us through the deep post for a touchdown. What was the play call? How'd you get yourself open on that play?
It's a pretty simple play. I have a post on that, and then Evans kind of coming over on an over, and we knew that safety was gonna cut Evan when he crossed, and pretty much we just had to beat that backside corner that was trying to overlap. So the general idea, obviously, is to outrun the guy that's initially over me and try to get inside of him while maintaining a high enough angle to stay away from that backside guy, and obviously. Daniel was able to throw a good ball and get it there in time to where I could catch it before the defender was able to get there.
Yeah, Joe Hayden almost made it back from the opposite side of the field there. Yeah. When you're looking at that corner on you one-on-one, and he's playing off, and you know that the whole goal of this play is to get him beat over the top, what's your focus in terms of technique to close that distance but then also create that separation past him when he has that type of cushion on you on the snap?
First, is to try to close the gap between us as quickly as possible, and then, I gave him a slight lean outside just to make him to try to make him slow his feet or maybe just lean a little bit, and he did that. And then if I can get him to do that, I'm fast enough to at that point. It's pretty much over with. So, that was kind of my game plan going into it, and unfortunately, I was able to execute.
Yeah, we had Victor Cruz in here a couple of days ago on one of our shows, and he said that was classic teach tape. That's exactly how you get on top of a guy playing off of you and beat him deep. So you should be real happy with the job you did on that play, Darius. It was funny. Watching the one Daniel interception, a lot of people haven't talked about this. If you watch the All-22, I know what Daniel was waiting for. He was waiting for you because you were crossing along that back line of the end zone and you had to step on the defender. He was just waiting for you to get to that side of the field to deliver that pass. Do you think if he has that extra second, he's able to hit you with that touchdown?
Yeah, not even a second, a half second. Football is a game of inches, and he literally is cocking his arm back as he's getting hit. So, obviously, I believe if he gets that ball off and it's in my vicinity, I believe I'm going to catch it, and I believe there's a different outcome on that play. But it's kind of like I just said, football is a game of inches, and sometimes, the bad guys get one.
Yeah, and by the way, similar, after you guys recovered that muff punt, he's looking for you on that slant or that little in cut you're running on the left-hand side of the field when when Watt gets to him and knocks that ball away, that was another opportunity. You could have had 4 touchdown catches in this game, Darius.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, potentially, yeah.
When you're playing a heavy zone team like the Steelers and the Bears who you're playing this week, what are some of the keys as a wide receiver to try to work the zone, find some space, and make sure you're effective against teams that have a lot of experience playing those different types of zones?
Just being aware of where guys are and where they're going to end up, is the biggest thing as far as zones, because everybody's trying to get to an area of the field, so if you have an idea of where guys are going to end up being, it makes it a lot easier to be able to find those soft spots pre-snap.
And I imagine, too, that goes a lot into the game plan, right? Because I know against the zone, you're going to want to settle into areas, while against man, maybe you want to try to catch the ball on the move a little bit more. So it seemed to me that, Jason Garrett and Daniel and you guys at wide receiver were really locked in, and you were ready, and you had the exact right type of plays called to beat the type of defense the Steelers were showing you on Monday night.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely had some really good calls in there in that game. Some that we just didn't properly execute as players. But, like I said, that's football. Every play is not going to be perfect. But I definitely think that last week they had us in a good position to make a lot of plays, and I think the coach will do the same this week.
How quickly were you able to kind of get into this new offense? I know a lot of people have talked about how the language is very different, and that was something new to learn. How much different is the scheme? Was it a lot for you to learn and adjust to, or has it been pretty natural for you?
It's different, but the biggest thing is kind of just the words. A lot of times there's words that you have in a previous offense that mean one thing, that in your new offense mean a different thing. So it's trying to delete the old while learning the new at the same. Sometimes is honestly the biggest hump to overcome.
I was watching the Bears play the Lions last week. They have Kyle Fuller, who was obviously a veteran corner, a really good player for a long time. Then I thought Jalen Johnson, the rookie, played a real nice game. What did you see from these Bears corners when you looked at them on tape this week?
Like you said, I mean, Kyle Fuller, we played him last year, so I know he's a good player. He's a very intelligent player. Definitely a guy that you got to have your antennas up when you're going up against. And Ashley, new guy, I mean, obviously he's a rookie, so there's only one game worth of film on him, so it's kind of hard to tell right now. But, kind of like you said, I mean, he played a good game last week, so, we'll see how it goes this week.
How much can you take out of your game against the Bears last year, and you can take into this game where maybe, you can take a few things to give you an advantage having 1 year and one game of experience against this team?
I think familiarity always is helpful. Like I said, going up against Kyle Fuller last year, sometimes people tell you stuff about players and, oh, this guy is this or this guy is that, and you get out there and sometimes they are what they said and they aren't what they said. Kyle Fuller is one of those guys that I got out there, and he's everything that people say he is, and I look forward to the matchup again.
Yeah, and he likes to go after the football. They have another guy in the secondary at safety, Eddie Jackson, who's one of the best ball hawking safeties in the league, Darius. As a receiver, what can you do to make sure that even if he reads around and maybe gets a clue into what you guys are trying to do, that you don't let him come up with that big deflection, with that big interception to keep your offense on the field?
Sometimes it's just as simple as getting your body between him and the ball. Sometimes, like I said, sometimes they get one. Sometimes the defense, has a beat or whatever, and they get a good jump or out of a break or something. But, if you know that or you see it coming, then sometimes, obviously you're always trying to catch the ball, but sometimes it's better if it just hits you in the chest and hits the ground than as opposed to them getting a turnover.
Final two questions for Darius Slayton. Darius, you've obviously had a lot of experience with Coach Judge over the offseason with the Zoom calls and then training camp here in person. But this was your first week coming off of a game, and the team sits down, you sit down in your groups, and you go through the tape, you see what you did well, see what you didn't do well, and you have to improve on it. So what was that process like with Coach Judge and the coaching staff this week, going through the tape from Steelers and figuring out what you need to fix off of Monday night?
Obviously we lost the game, so there's an air of disappointment in that, but at the same time there was a lot of encouraging things on the film, a lot of things that we can control, a lot of stuff, some stuff assignment wise, some stuff just execution wise, things that we can control. So stuff like that is really encouraging to see on film, because that going into the next week, if we just handle our business, then things will turn out differently.
Now, we've heard Bill Belichick, when he was in New England, would not be afraid to call out guys in front of a whole team in a meeting. Is that the kind of method that Joe Judge uses, or is he more of a one-on-one, we'll take care of our business quietly type of guy?
I mean, if he needs to, I guess. I mean, I can't think of necessarily a situation just that sticks out of my mind. But with that, I probably say our special teams coach T-Mac has a saying: "We attack problems, not people." So, if anything, if Coach Judge does highlight somebody or something or whatever, he's highlighting an issue. So it's not something that somebody's going to take personally. It's just something that obviously needs to be fixed in order for us to be successful as a team.
No, absolutely, 100%. Finally, last week, first week traveling in this new kind of COVID era, Darius. I know you haven't done it yet, but what's your feel for how different this is going to be in terms of traveling and going to play Chicago, in what's going to be probably one of the weirder trips you're going to have to take?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the flight's probably gonna be a little bit more spaced out than before.
Nothing wrong with that, by the way.
Yeah, give you a little more room to stretch out, I guess. But I mean, not too much would be too much different. I mean, the only real thing, last year, sometimes if you go to a city or something, you might go get something to eat. But other than that, I mean, I assume it'll be pretty much the same.